leadership. This past 3-4 days has spoken volumes to us, whether we know it or not, about leadership. The Pope, Putin, Trump, or the lack of leadership from certain people who will go unnamed, Obama. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
The Pope is back in Rome, and I am going to leave it to you to discern, to determine the impact of the papal visit. Clearly you can see from this footage, the Pope baby and the Pope kissing babies and the throngs of people in Philadelphia. His visit here was widely covered by the media. I was surprised at the amount of coverage, the amount of live coverage that Fox gave it was incredible. I leave it to you. There are very strong positives. There are some very significant concerns that many Roman Catholics have. And it's about prioritization, okay? It's about prioritization. And I get that the Pope is trying to bring people back into the Catholic Church to kind of put a more kind, more merciful face on the church. But the question that a lot of people have is, at what cost? So I'll leave it at that. If you want to see some just glowing reports, you can find them all over the web. If you want to see a very intense critique, Judge Napolitano, the guy who's the Fox News analyst, he wrote, I didn't even know he was Catholic. He wrote a blistering article about priorities, So I can tell you this, that in the dogmas, in the Catechism of the Church, it lists 4 sins that cry to heaven. Okay, and these come from the scriptures. 4 sins that cry to heaven: the shedding of innocent blood, murder, homosexuality from Sodom and Gomorrah, mistreatment of orphans and widows, and withholding a laborer's just wages. Okay, those are the 4 sins that cry for vengeance. And our country is entrenched in 2 of them. In 2 of these sins, we are now entrenched. These are sins that cry out to heaven for judgment, for vengeance. And the Lord is slow to anger, plenteous in mercy, as the scripture says. But he does reach a point. We see it in the book of Judges. We see it in the books of 1st and 2nd Samuel. We can see it all the way through the historical books of the Old Testament, and particularly we see it in the prophetic books of the Old Testament. Read Jeremiah, read Ezekiel, and read them as you read the reports of the destruction of Jerusalem and the destruction of the temple. These are not small deals. And in Manasseh's day, King Manasseh, he shed innocent blood. He participated in child sacrifice, and for decades, literally for decades. So for decades, the Jews were murdering their own babies, like we are now in America, and like we've been doing for decades. And God's wrath didn't come down upon them the first day. Didn't come on them the first week or the first year. Didn't even come down on them in the first decade. But it came. It came. And so the Pope has said that he's maybe quoted out of context, but he's made the comment that the church is too obsessed with child killing, contraception, and homosexual marriage. And maybe there is an obsession with some people, but maybe we're obsessed because we should be. If I was living in, say, Germany, and I knew that Jews were being carted away to concentration camps, I'd be obsessed about it. If I was living in occupied Holland, and I knew that Jews and Christians were being rounded up and taken to concentration camps, I would be obsessed about it. So, I'm going to take a break. When we come back, talk about Putin, talk about Obama, talk about Boehner, talk about McConnell, Talk about you and what you can do to be the salt of the earth, the light of the world, the weaponry in the hand of God to bring about true change, true justice, true reform. This show is not only for people to sit there in their big old chair and say, honey, bring me another drink. Randall's on. It's not just that. It's so that you, when you get out of your chair, are a force to be reckoned with, intellectually, verbally, politically, culturally, theologically. Can I think of any more words that end with ly? All right, I'll take a break and I'll be back quickly, rapidly. Those doesn't. Thanks to friends like you, we have state-of-the-art cameras and state-of-the-art teleprompters and state-of-the-art gear here in the studio. We have one big need, however. We have not yet been able to upgrade our computers. The computers that we use for a television broadcast or to create a documentary are not like the kind that you can just go buy at Best Buy. They are expensive because it takes so much horsepower to create TV series and or documentaries. So I'm asking you, if you want to see this show grow and you want to see us finish the What Would Muhammad Do series, help us get these computers. 3 computers that we need right now are going to be just shy of $20,000. That's the kind of horsepower that we need. Go to the GoFundMe page you see right there. Watch the pilot for What Would Muhammad Do? And if you like the show, give us a gift.